A very warm welcome to this Mastering the Game of Life podcast, where your host, Paul D. Lowe, embraces many crucial conversations that compassionately contribute towards living a better life. Paul's intention is very simple: to help get people's inspirational messages and transformational stories out into the world so others may benefit.
Hello listeners, and welcome to this Mastering the Game of Life podcast episode, where we're doing the mini-series, the Sacred mini-series. And at this point, I just want to remind listeners around that less is more, because for me, the words are going to be less. And so I'm going to do no more than hand over to Amy Moscow and Dr. Kimberly Woods.
Thank you, Paul. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Sacred Journey. My name is Amy Moscow, and I'm co-founder of Intentional Healing Systems. I'm the author of Gratitude plus Forgiveness times Love equals Happiness and Daily Agreements, Guidelines, and Intentions. I've also developed a life improvement and healing system called Sacred to honor the sacred nature within each and every one of us. And you can find more information about me on my website at www.ihsunity.com. Now, Kimberly, over to you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kimberly Woods. I am an author, a teacher, a healer, and a guide. I currently have a business called Mystical Awakenings, and I'm launching a new business, the School of Mystical Arts, in mid-February. Thank you for joining us today. We are doing a mini-series on sacred and what it means to be unified and connected. And our particular topic today is going to be on hope over fear and having hope in the midst of fear. And our current guest today is Rick Swanson, who is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, a shaman, and currently is working on something called 1010, which Rick can tell us more about. But before we begin in our podcast today with Rick, Amy is going to lead us through a meditation. Back to you, Amy.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do a meditation today to clear fear away. All right. So I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And I'm going to start the meditation with some intentions. Okay. So breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Focus on your breathing and listen to my words. I choose to become the most divinely perfect reflection of my sacred nature. I choose to release all fear energy that blocks my true reflection. I choose to cut all cords at the roots of anything I leave behind. I choose to live above the threshold of fear. Okay, take another deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And as you inhale, visualize yourself pulling golden energy into your lungs. And on your exhale, visualize yourself releasing debris from inside of you. Let go of that energy that dims your light. Now imagine yourself taking a walk by yourself on a dirt road that's cut a path through the woods. The sun is shining so you can feel the warmth on your head, your face, and your shoulders. Off in the distance, you can see that the road splits, so the current path goes left and a new path goes to the right. Know that as you close in on the split, you'll have to make an important choice. In preparation for this decision, you're going to clear your energy with grace and ease. I'm going to make some statements to direct this clearing process. If the statements feel right to you, just agree to integrate the energy of them. With grace and ease, I am using love to cut cords of attachment with energies that slow my vibration and bring forward into the next moment only energies that support my highest possible vibration. Visualize yourself taking a step forward out of yourself into a new version of you. See the cords that would pull you back being cut by an archangel with a golden sword. See those cords in the layer you've just released fall behind you and turn to dust. With grace and ease, I am using love to dissolve memories of trauma and bring forward into the next moment only memories that lift me up. Visualize yourself taking another step forward, out of the old you and into the new you. See the crown of your head light up with golden energy. See the trauma memories leave your brain like smoke and fall behind you as dust. With grace and ease, I am using love to remove energetic roadblocks that hinder my progress and bring forward into the next moment only free-flowing creative energy. Visualize yourself taking another step forward out of yourself into the new you. See the roadblocks as a boulder behind you turn to dust. With grace and ease, I am using love to neutralize all fears within any part of me and bring forward into the next moment only love. Visualize yourself taking another step forward out of the old you into a new you. That new you is emanating golden energy from every cell. You've reached the split in the road and it's decision time. The path that continues on the left has a sign which reads, "The fearful me." The path that splits off to the right has a sign which reads, "Courageous me." Choose your path and take several steps forward until you're solidly on your chosen path. If you have chosen to take the path that corresponds with the courageous you, close out this meditation by integrating the energy of these words. With gratitude and forgiveness, I am released from all attachments to fear. I am a divine reflection of pure love. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Amy. As I said today, we are going to be talking with Rick Swanson. And Rick, I thought maybe you could tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and what you're doing, what you're working on currently now with 1010, as we address the topic of hope beyond fear.
Thanks for having me, Kimberly. And Amy, that was an absolutely beautiful meditation. I will look forward to listening to it again and again. That is it's absolutely wonderful.
Oh, good.
So a couple of thoughts before we dive in deeper. I was taught an acronym for fear 30 plus years ago that I think is super powerful. It is for the conscious mind to be able to give meaning to fear in a rational way. So this won't deal with fear from an emotional perspective, but fear is an acronym. And the acronym is false evidence appearing real. So the mind, when we examine fear, usually it is irrational, meaning it doesn't, there's nothing actually to be fearful of except what we imagine could happen to us, not actually what is happening to us. So I just want to acknowledge that a very large percentage of the time, I would guess in the neighborhood of 90+% of time, fear is actually what is imagined, not what is actually. Fear is emanating from what is being imagined, not what is actually happening. So use that as a basis to begin to deal with fear, and go with grace and ease, as Amy said, because grace and ease and being in the flow are absolutely a much safer and better way. So how would you like me to address this, Kimberly, with hope? Would you like to hear my personal struggles and story, or what is it that you would like to accomplish today?
I don't think that we have it as scripted as that. Certainly, Amy and I have talked about some things that we would like to ask you. But We're talking about people. I love what you said, how you defined fear. We're talking about people who, though, would say, no, it's not false evidence. There really is a virus. People really are getting sick. I really have lost my job. My business really has gone out of business. And they can say these are real things. This is real evidence. It's not appearing that way. What would you say to someone like that, and in a way that would help them to shift their perspective possibly towards one of hope?
That is an excellent way to frame it, and an excellent question. I'm pausing for a second because I want to put myself in the position of not being or having been through my life experiences, and share what it would be like having not had these experiences, but yet still give you the answer that ultimately you will find is true. And I'll go back to a time when I thought the worst thing ever happened to me. And I was in my 20s, and I had an event happen in life that I deemed the worst thing that ever happened to me. So much so that I sought out therapy and counseling to overcome the acute nature of it. Years later, I actually reframed that worst thing to call it the best worst thing that ever happened to me. And what I mean by that is that I had so many blessings come to me that came through the fire that I went through that couldn't have come to me unless I had gone through the fire. So the false evidence appearing real means that, yes, it appears real. It like you will absolutely feel as though this is crushing, and this is like maybe your greatest test ever, and the worst thing that ever has happened to you, possibly, right? And yet, it is false evidence, because it could be that it's just a doorway opening up to something so amazing that couldn't have opened unless you went through this thing. So I don't want to diminish what anyone's going through, because when you're in it, it feels awful. It does. However, if you learn this mechanism, that really it is creating an opportunity for you to have something much better, all of a sudden, A, that creates the hope, and B, it opens the door for you to actually find a different emotion to tap into, a different energy, a different wavelength to tap into right now, while you're in the middle of this terrible thing, to be in hope, which then drives the positive thing to come to fruition much quicker, much faster. So you don't have to be in that terrible thing. You can actually be anticipating, oh, something terrible is happening, or that I perceive as terrible is happening, but oh, that means something amazing is coming. So I don't expect that you'll get this if this is your first time going through it. But if you've had other bad things happen in your life, you know what I'm saying is true, because it inevitably happens over and over again. It just kind of, if you allow it, it happens very quickly.
So what I'm hearing you say, Rick, is that basically these horrible things, these things that we have perceived to be awful, are really opportunities. They're opportunities for growth. And then what comes out of that is something amazing. Is that correct? Am I understanding what you're saying correctly?
That is paraphrased perfectly. I don't want to diminish what someone's going through, because when you're in the middle of that, it is overwhelming. It is like the words I'm even saying don't even seem possible. And yet, if you allow just a glimmer, just a little glimmer of this energy that I'm throwing out to you to seep in and plant the seed that this could be possible for you, if you open yourself up into the possibility that it could happen for you, oh my goodness, you now have the key to unlock the door so that it can open very quickly, so that you don't have to suffer for a long period of time. You can get through it quickly, because you now understand that this wasn't a bad thing. It was actually a blessing in disguise.
Rick, do you have other tools that you use as well? This sounds like, as Amy said, a shifting of perspective, an opening for other